They sent me a water bill for $5,847.
Outrageous bill pricing.
I mean, my bill was drastic. It's horrible.
Sadly, a familiar story, but could smart technology fix the broken billing system at Sewerage and Water Board? It is a problem that has plagued the agency and customers for years, but critics question if the potential fix is the real deal.
Yeah, so WDSU investigative reporter Cassie Sherm takes a closer look at the new smart meters and addresses questions about your bills.
These people that's robbing us every month.
In 2017, there was a flood of frustrations coming from Sewerage and Water Board customers.
This is a huge amount of money, and they have stolen it.
And 7 years later,
there is no such thing as a normal bill. That's the problem. The readings varied so much that I couldn't determine what I was going to pay.
Community members are still left fighting to get the bill right.
Like we will be away for a month and we'll get a bill for like thousands of dollars, and yeah, so we've had to have a few disputes, and with the Sewage and Water Board, we're currently contesting one at the moment.
Do you think up to this point the public has lost its trust in Sewage and Water Board because of the inaccurate bills?
In some instances, I have no doubt, and I don't blame some of our customers who received a wrong bill.
Ghassan Corban, head of the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board, says to fix the bills, they're going out with the old and in with the new smart technology to every single home.
Bringing this system is long overdue.
The smart meters will send the water usage straight to Sewage and Water Board.
With that comes accuracy, consistency, which everybody wants to see as part of their bill.
And starting in August, it'll be going straight to your phones as well.
That would allow individual customers to access their account and know exactly what their consumption looks like in real time. So they can monitor, they can look for any anomalies or unusual spikes that are unexplainable, and then maybe allow them to respond in a timely fashion and reduce the amount of potential leakage or a running faucet or running toilet in a timely fashion.
When we did this interview, more than 12,000 smart meters were already installed. Right now, they're at 19,000 with an end-of-the-year goal
of half the population, which is about 70,000 of those meters installed.
70,000, that's a lot. Do you think that's a realistic number by the end of this year?
Yes, I mean, we have proven that we can start plotting. We know exactly what we need to do per week and then per month.
And by 2026, they plan to have 140,000 installed. But starting this month, those smart meters already installed are becoming active.
Every time we switch a meter to a smart meter, we can then turn it on, and then you would have an immediate access to all the features that a smart meter brings in terms of accuracy, the data that it collects.
These are what's going to be replaced by those new smart meters, some of them 15 to even 20 years old. They say it's because of the age. The readings aren't as accurate with how much water you've actually used. That's why they say these smart meters, with their accuracy, you could be seeing some higher bills.
Because they're mechanical, the inside parts, the mechanical parts would have degraded and lost accuracy through time, and typically between 0.5% to 1% a year. So what is going to happen with the new smart meters, you're going to capture more accurately what is being consumed. So it's going to reflect exactly what you're consuming. So generally speaking, based on the numbers we have seen, and it's a small percentage of the overall population, our customers will experience a slight increase in their bill.
Other cities across the United States have used smart meters and had success, including Ann Arbor, Michigan, Kansas City, Missouri, and a small portion of Houston, Texas, while others have caused more headaches than help, like San Diego, Bend, Oregon, and right next door in Jackson, Mississippi. Problems included meter glitches and defects, which caused even more inaccurate billing and confusion.
We are keeping an eye on a lot of systems that have been being executed, and we talk to our many cities and many of our counterparts for lessons learned. I took advantage of their experiences, and they were very gracious in sharing do's and the don'ts, which is huge, too, so we don't repeat the same mistakes.
Do you think the smart meters is the end-all solution to fix this billing crisis we're having?
Well, I hope it is, but it's not just a plug and play and it's all done. So we're cautiously optimistic, and obviously you're minimizing the human interaction here, but it's going to take a lot of oversight to make sure it works correctly.
Councilmember Joe Geruso says that's why the council will be keeping a close eye on the project as it rolls out.
And the bottom line is we are trying to restore credibility here because it's been breached over these last 7 years, and now how do we put it all back together?
So what happens to the millions of dollars of delinquent bills that people haven't paid or are still fighting?
Our goal is to reach out to as many of our customers who are delinquent or have disputes and clear those as fast as we can. So our goal is to outsource some of these arbitration and the processing and the auditing of those accounts and bring some final resolution that's equitable, acceptable by the customers.
For those who have already had their smart meters installed, they're hoping for the best.
If I'm going to get a better meter reading, here's to it.
Yeah, it'll be helpful to see kind of what comes out of it.
As the meters are getting a new facelift, Corbon hopes the community sees the agency in a new light.
It bothers people to have received a wrong bill, and they shouldn't ever receive a wrong bill. So we want new slate. We want to start fresh.
In New Orleans, I'm Cassie Sherm, WDSU Investigates.
As of today, 8,500 households have received bills from those smart meters.